great.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? A call to order the July 1st meeting of the Lehigh Northampton Airport Authority. If everyone would please stand, face the flag as we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So Vet, would you please call the roll?
Paul Anthony,
I'm here.
Ann Baum, Robert Brooks, Frank Facciano, Don Gottschall, here. Ricky Gower,
Here.
Justin Grimshaw,
Here.
John Hayes,
Here.
James Irwin,
Here.
Kevin Lott, Glenn Reedman,
Present.
Kevin Surface,
Here.
Mike Sturshik,
Here.
Jonathan Strauss, Chris Worley.
Thank you. Any public comments, Vet?
Not this time.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion for approval of the May 27th meeting. Go on. Second by John. Any additions, corrections? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, John, since Frank is not here, if you will take care of the treasurer's report.
Since I'm done chewing my car.
As the finance
Yeah,
chair.
go ahead and turn it over to Todd for a presentation of the May financials.
All right. Good seat there. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
All right. We start off with the traffic. We are 5 months out of the year. You can kind of see where we are. We tailed off a little bit from year-over-year increases, but still year to date, we are second, only behind 04. And this was the 6th best May on record. If you look at traffic in general, January through March, we were second best all time. April was the 4th best all time. May was the 6th best all time. So it rolls all up into the second best behind 04. And then going for the next 4 months, last year, although it might be jinxed a little bit because we have a board meeting in July. But if you remember, July and August of last year, we set records as far as traffic. So I'll jinx this by having a meeting on July 1st, but hopefully that'll carry over. But July through, June through September is actually for 2024 was our best on record for that 4-month period. So hopefully that'll continue for this going forward. But the one thing to keep in mind is versus 04, we had 1% of our traffic that was bus. Now it's 11%. So just, again, just kind of keeping an eye on what's going on going forward. Comparing ourselves to all airports, you can kind of see where we are. We're slightly ahead of the trend there. All throughput is about 2 points higher there. All airports at 9, we're at 11. Seats, we're at about 10, and all airports are 7.5. And comparing our peers, that middle spot seems to be a pretty good spot because you can see the peer average kind of wipes itself out. The ones that are doing really well are wiping out the ones that aren't doing so well at the bottom of the chart. So being in the middle in this particular instance is a good thing because we're doing better than a lot of the folks that are toward the bottom there. For the month of May, again, we're all done with CARES, but we did receive a little bit of FEMA in May. So that was unbudgeted, so that was good stuff by Steve and his team, getting us that FEMA funds. So we had a positive 262K obviously without CARES. So that puts us up to a positive number versus budget of 132K. Again, good stuff when you look at it that way. Then when you look at year to date, always looking at that number without CARES because that's where we are going forward. We're at 1.3 million net income. That -6 is the targeted number that we talked to the airlines about maintaining that going forward because that, considering what we've earned so far, the rest of the year, -6, and if income comes in as expected or as budgeted, we will break even for the rest of the year. So that was kind of that -6 number.
And then Todd, a little under 800,000 in demolition costs associated with taking down the old terminal, I would assume.
I didn't hear your full question.
The 800,000 one-time demo expenses, that's the old terminal?
Yes, that is the old terminal, yes. And again, you know, one of the things we did, what's not factored into that -6 is some of these expenses like the demolition of the building that won't be for next year. They're kind of one-time expenses that we really did use the CARES funding for to kind of take care of some things that we otherwise wouldn't have the expenses to do. You kind of to John's point down there, that 795 is what we already have spent on demolition with the government building.
And again, that's money that had been recognized as income in prior periods that we are now expensing.
Correct. Prior to this year, when you say prior, I'm thinking next year, but yes. Because we got all the CARES earlier, but that was kind of money we earmarked for demolition, some of that CARES funding. Again, breaking down our numbers, where we are favorable versus budget on both of our numbers, and we have some margin there, still up pretty significantly from last year. That plus 25 is about a plus 9 if you take out the demolition, but still pretty significant, and we're going to have to kind of take that into consideration when we do the 2026 budget, because obviously we won't have as much cushion without the CARES. And this kind of our cash, you kind of see our cash kind of coming down some, just based on some of the projects we have. We should have the 2024 peer average, and that's just as of the end of last year. It just kind of says where the peers were. When it says 2023, that's as of December 31st, because that's just one point in time. It doesn't kind of monitor where they are now. It's just as of the end of the year, it's a specific point and where we are. We should be ahead of that number where the average is, just based on some of the preliminary numbers as of 12/31. And I expect most of our peers to go down as well, simply because their CARES are going as well. Any questions? You had a good month? I try to keep these semis short.
Not a question, I got a statement. On Sunday, I dropped my wife's cousin to fly back to Florida off here. I thought about you because I was driving around, I was looking at the lot, and I was like, man, Todd's really happy. I don't think there was a space out there available. Like it was, there might have been, but I didn't see any, I'm telling you.
And you did pay, right?
Oh, I dropped them off. I came out of the car and I drove out of the airport.
He barely slowed down.
That's why I didn't see any empty spots. But it was very busy. It was very busy. It was cool to see this, like, there's just a sea of cars out there.
Okay, all right. But next time you can park.
He flew out of here. What else you want from me?
All right, any other questions?
Do you have any other questions or comments for Todd on the finance report? Okay, hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to accept or to approve the finance report.
To accept.
Accept, yeah. Mike, second. Ricky,
I'll second.
Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the subject motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dawn.
We'll go to Ryan to talk to us about approval of the DCED multimodal grant application resolution.
Thank you, John. Good evening, everybody. So, Justin, to your point, good timing in terms of parking lot being full. What we're looking for is approval to apply for DCD multimodal funding for our parking garage that we have in our capital budget that we're working through design. As one of the grant requirements, in order to submit the application, we need a board resolution authorizing us to submit the grant. The grant amounts are capped at $3 million, so we're asking for $3 million to fund a portion of the garage construction. There is a 70-30 split, so 30% matching funds are required by us, which is around $1.2 million, which if we're successful will be budgeted in next year's capital budget. Working through the application right now, it is due by the end of July. We're trying to get it in basically in the next week or two. So we're looking for approval to prepare that grant application resolution.
Motion to approve. John, second. Justin, thank you. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Mr. Director?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Todd talked a bit about traffic, just sort of looking at traffic now that June is behind us officially, I suppose. Nationally, traffic through checkpoints is down 1% through June over last June. Here at ABE, we were up about 3% throughput-wise. Looking ahead to July, seats are flat in the schedule. As Todd mentioned, and we see those numbers coming down a little bit. Keep in mind, last July, we had a number of canceled flights due to the CrowdStrike national IT outage. So that may actually keep our July numbers looking pretty decent as well. Air cargo for the month of May was up 52%, so strong month for air cargo. And as we look back at what's happened since May 27th, our last board meeting, on June 5th, we had the groundbreaking of the Courtyard by Marriott project at ABE. So great to get that project underway. On June 7th, we had our Wings for All event here. About 30 families participated, and that was in partnership with the ARC of Lehigh and Northampton counties. So it's always a great event. June 9th through the 11th, staff attended Jumpstart meetings out in Indianapolis. Again, kind of like speed dating with the airlines. So a great opportunity to have some good conversations there. And we heard a good air service update this month at committee. On June 17th, participated in the discussion at the Lehigh Valley Transportation Summit as part of the Greater Lehigh Valley Chamber of Commerce over at Mack Truck Center. So Frank and the Chamber, a great event over there. And then on June 26th, we hosted a facility tour for the Office of Vocational Rehab with the state. We had some special needs students learning about careers in aviation. So it was a great opportunity to engage with the state and bring some folks in to learn about opportunities here at ABE. In terms of upcoming events, and we've got a few because we've got July and August to cover here. July 8th and 9th, as well as the 22nd and the 23rd, we're bringing back our junior fire camp at ABE. We have 39 campers signed up. So we've got a great turnout for that, and we're excited to get that underway. On the 14th through the 17th of July, we'll be hosting 7 students from Northampton Area School District as part of their summer mentoring program. So getting them around to a number of departments and working with students there. Another thing we're doing with some students from on July 30th, we're hosting approximately 20 to 25 students from the Da Vinci Science Center as part of their summer camp. And so we're getting them here to do a facility tour and again, talk a lot about airport and STEM. On August 4th, we're hosting the Lehigh Valley chapter of Canine Companions to help train service dogs in airports. So it's just an opportunity for service dogs in training to come here and navigate an airport and checkpoints and jetways and all the unique stuff that they'll certainly be encountering at an airport. Our next Fear of Flying seminar is August 5th. There's still a few spots remaining if people are interested. August 7th, we sent some email out to the board working with Miller Keystone to host another blood drive if you're interested. Again, August 7th for that. And August 25th, Steve and the team will be working on our next airport emergency plan tabletop exercise and hosting that as part of our annual review with all of our mutual aid agencies. And last but not least, our next scheduled meetings are set for August 21st for committees and August 26th for board. So with that, that concludes my report, Mr. Chair. Happy to answer questions if there are any.
Any questions for the director?
What was the date on the committee again?
August 21st. Thursday, August 21st.
I thought you said something else, and I thought I saw it differently.
Okay, and maybe I did say something else.
No, I probably heard something else. We're
Okay.
I've been hearing things lately.
Got a lot. Yeah, there's voices everywhere.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Madam Solicitor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the responsible contractor policy was discussed at length in the business committee last week. And because there are further details to work out, it has been tabled at committee, which means it will remain in committee until a recommendation is made to the board. And just to follow up on that governance question, so the committee will come to its recommendation for the policy, then it comes to full board, and then further discussion may ensue. And you may decide to make changes at the board level before calling for a vote on the responsible contractor policy. We finished up a big lease and a vendor agreement for the car detailer, the mobile detailer who will detail your car while you're away, and then you come home to a nice shiny car. And that's pretty much it for the notable things. I've also been checking up on that stormwater decision to see if it's issued yet, because a couple of cases that were argued the same day, there has been a decision, but nothing yet. So I'm keeping an eye on that.
Any questions for the solicitor?
I have one, but I don't know if it should be an executive session or not. I mean, it's about the RCO and what you just announced. So what I'm gonna ask is, we've heard a lot. I understand how these boards work, this board works, and during committee, we have everybody in all the time and everybody can ask questions even if you're not on that committee. At this point, I believe the RCO language should be taken to the business committee and then we can bring it out of the business committee with whatever it is. We're getting bogged down with a lot of opinions from people who aren't involved in the committee. So I don't know how that works, but at this point, we've had 2 meetings with everybody's opinion. I think we need to narrow it down to just the committee and come through. I don't know.
Well, the document can't come out of the committee until the committee votes, and the committee can amend the document any way they see fit.
I understand that, but there's a lot of noise coming from people that aren't on the committee that I think that should wait to the full board. That's my opinion. So we've had a lot of noise
Leave it
and I
to your
understand.
chair.
So. Okay.
And the bylaws provide that anyone may participate in the committee meetings, even if they're not on that designated member of that committee. So it would just be something for the committee chair to make a determination.
Any other questions for the solicitor? Any new business? Any need for an executive session?
No, sir.
Motion for adjournment.
God,
You're
You just broke Matt's
adjourned
record.
till,
Chairman.
what is
You
that?
just broke Matt's record,
Why, what's the time?
17 minutes.
16. This was
Did
20.
someone move to adjourn? Because if they didn't, you didn't.